Hello everybody and welcome to another Top 10 edition of Magic Mike's, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com. You can find cool stuff in stock every day, and check out our co-sponsor CardHoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. And check out our Altar Sleeves. Support the show by using the code MAGICMIKES at checkout for 5% off anything in that store. I am Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, MTG Nerd Girl.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Ruben Bressler.
I'm so excited for today's episode.
It's going to be a wonderful time in the Unland. But we also begin with our choice of the top comment from last week in a segment we call Honorable Mention, where Ruben will tell us who is the most eloquent, letting us know what card we did not choose as one of our top 10 Warhammer 40k cards. Ruben?
Yes, before we travel to the Astorium, first we must travel 40,000 years into the future for Warhammer's Honorable Mention. We had lots of passionate responses and verbose responses, and I chose one that had a little bit of both. This week's winner is Nomadic. My favorite card is probably Emotech, the Stormlord. The Necron deck was so interesting, and the fact that gave so many ways to play and modify it with 5 different legends, just on that basis had to be one of the legends from it. Emotech does so much, from just giving you 2 artifact creatures for each artifact flipped from the graveyard. I would like to place emphasis on the additional creature and type, as he always draws comparisons to Tormod, but these two changes make a world of difference. You have cards that become really silly all of a sudden, like Scrap Heap Scrounger, which turns into 4 2/2s and a 3/2 for 1 and a black. Or Metalwork Colossus that easily loops with any sack outlet on the board. And finally, you can always just do some solid value plays with an old favorite of mine, Trading Post. There is, of course, more, but half of the fun with Emotech, unlike, say, Tazarin for me, is that he can be built anywhere from a degenerate combo commander to just a silly value engine.
Emotech the Stormlord is 2 black, 2 generic mana for a 3/3 mythic legendary artifact creature Necron, and it has Pharaon, which is an ability that says whenever 1 or more artifact cards leave your graveyard, create 2 2/2 black Necron warrior artifact creature tokens, and also has Grand Strategist at the beginning of the combat. On your turn, another target artifact creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains menace until end of turn because value.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty darn good hill giant.
I will admit, I had a little trouble with my list. So I was reading all the cards, but I'm not a huge EDH player. So when I see all these cards, I didn't see the possibilities like this commenter did. Listing off all the things that these cards could do, I just kept thinking, like, how cool would this be as like an uncommon lord in limited? So
Right.
I was struggling, and I do appreciate a comment that's this detailed and understands the complexity of Commander way more than I do.
You know, it's it's funny being like the Timmy Spike and slowly realizing that it's the Johnnies of the world that really drive the innovation in Commander and drive people nuts and have cards explode in value because, oh yeah, Eon counters were used on Magosi or whatever and are now using this other thing where you can move the counters around and oops, that card's now $1 million. So stuff like that, being able to loop things with Metalwork Colossus, which is nuts. Make it just whenever it says whenever 1 or more artifact cards leave your graveyard like that. Yep. That's a hell of a sentence right there. So thanks very much for Nomadic for being part of the show. Please contact us on Twitter DMs at MagicMikesCast for your prize. Thanks again to CoolStuffInc.com for sponsoring this giveaway. And stay tuned for our top 10 list this week, and maybe you can win next week's free gift certificate because it's time to go to the Unworld. We're going to the land of Unfinity, and it's time to have some fun.
Yeah, we all love an unset. And the fact that this unset has cards that we might see in other formats is interesting. I love the flavor of Myra the Magnificent's Astorium of Fun with all of the various like vampires and goblins and people that work there. You can see the galaxy lands there. All of the stuff is great.
You know the TikTok meme, girls don't want jewelry, they want X? I'm going to do that. Girls don't want jewelry, they want Infinity lands.
They want Infinity galaxy foils.
Very nice. Well, let's go ahead and get started with this list. Ruben, what's your number 10?
My number 10, I'm excited because it's the first time that any of us will have an attraction in a top 10. So I get to have the first one. The attractions are cool. The attraction deck is interesting. I'm excited to give it a shot. when I'm able to be in an event that has Unfinity, or if I get my my cards that will have that will enable for attractions in my Commander decks. Some of them are not legal in Commander, and that's a shame. But the ones that aren't legal in Commander are also hilarious. And my number 10 is one of them. You know, there are 41 cards in Magic that have banding. There are 9 cards that allow you to band bands with other things, but there's only 1 card that allows you to put them all into a log together. My number 10 is Log Flume. When you roll the visit number on your Log Flume, choose up to 4 creatures you control. Those creatures jump in a log until the end of the turn. Creatures in a log together can't be blocked unless they're all blocked. If a spell or ability you control targets one of them, it targets all of them. That's pretty busted, right? Like, we put it all in a log together and a giant growth for +12/+12. That's, I mean, it's a really cool, and they're all unblockable if my opponents only have 3 creatures.
Right.
It's a really cool card.
It does a lot. I love the attractions for the flavor. Like, they all kind of do a thing that makes the attraction make sense, and they're all adorable.
Yeah, the flavor, the top down of this, and they're all in a line, and if you hit them, you're hitting the whole log, and you got to hit the whole log flume if you're going to block all of them. They're all together. Like, it's just a wonderful flavor win on this one, and I think it's great. And, like, I understand it, you know, like, they jump in a log can't exactly be in the rules right now, but maybe. I mean, this doesn't seem like the most insane ability to make work in a non-acorn card, but either way, Nerd Girl, what's number 10?
So my number 10 is my first of 2 hires.
Oh boy, well, I got a few hires, but they're coming. So let's talk about my number 10 in that case, and this is a riff on one of my favorite cards from the old school Unsaid, from back in Unhinged, right? That was the first one. And so the ability to, like, do stuff while your opponents may not be paying all of the attention to you, and then all of a sudden you're like, oops, cheaty faces everywhere. Well, and now we have what's called a surprise party. For a white and 2 generic mana, it is a rare enchantment that says when surprise party enters the battlefield, yell surprise and put onto the battlefield any number of printed clown robot tokens that aren't touching each other that you hid on the battlefield before you cast surprise party and that weren't spotted by an opponent before you cast surprise party. Robots you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance. Surprise! Yeah. I love that stuff when you, like, reveal that, like, every single one had one under it and you're like, ah! That's awesome.
It's very good.
Just slip them under your mana base and just, like, tap with them kind of thing. You can have them, like, under your deck box.
Yep.
Sure.
Does it say table or field?
On the battlefield that aren't touching each other.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if battlefield is maybe the playmat.
I would say anywhere, you know, that's in play.
So just put your deck box on the corner of the playmat. Just make sure. Yeah.
Just so happen, right? Weird, huh?
So somebody printed a playmat that was nothing but, like, a skew and askance cheaty faces.
I've seen this.
This could be a similar thing where you just, the entire playmat is just a Where's Waldo of surprise parties. And you could probably just have them on the playmat.
Like a clown robot tokens just everywhere. Yep. So sick. I love that stuff.
Love that.
Yeah, that stuff's fun. All right, let's move here to number 9. Mine is higher on somebody else's list, which is awesome because I thought I was going to be the only person talking about this card, and that's great. So, Ruben, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is a kind of a Dexterity Matters card, I would say. But not Dexterity Matters in a Falling Star, Chaos Orb, what's the wrestling praying mantis?
Oh goodness, from the other unset.
Playing mantis, whatever. Something like that. But this is a different kind of dexterity. It's an artistic card.
Slaying mantis.
Slaying mantis. That's what I'm looking for.
There we go.
And this one is one that requires skill and touch and artistic ability, and I think it's very, very cool. It's Doodle Caricaturist. I think that's how you pronounce it. D00-DL Caricaturist.
Nice.
When Doodle's a 1/1 for 6 generic mana. It's a legendary artifact creature robot. When Doodle Caricaturist enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 colorless sketch creature token, which you have 15 seconds to draw. The token has flying if it has wings in the art. The same is true for First Strike and a sword, Vigilance and a shield, Menace and mean eyes, Trample and horns, Death Touch and claws, Lifelink and fangs, and Haste and footwear.
So good.
I love that.
This is awesome.
Yes. I like that card a lot, and I've been thinking about how am I going to memorize, because I feel like I could get a lot of those things in 15 seconds. The problem is I won't remember what things they are,
Yeah.
so I'll have to keep looking back and referencing the card, and I'll only get like 1 or 2.
Oh, yeah, get the
So it's going to be something I have to have memorized before Magic 30.
Right, need
Yeah.
the swords, get the shield in there.
If you have a version of, if you take
I
your
should
time,
draw, yeah.
practice, right?
There
Let's
you go.
practice right now. Hold on. Everybody take out a sketchbook.
Hold on a second. I'll get the timer ready.
Yeah, okay. Let me get my pen.
All right.
All right, I got my pen. All right, and
Ready?
you got a timer ready?
3, 2, 1, go. So Ruben is currently drawing his Doodle Caricaturist token. How much more can he do? Because we have 6 seconds left. The bomb is ticking. It's almost over. 2, 1. Time's over.
This is what I got.
All right, so he has
Move it-
shoes
Yeah, move it to there, to the
and wings.
right a little bit. There you go.
I got mean eyes.
Mean eyes, I'll give you that.
Oh.
The footwear.
I got a
shoe.
sword and a shield.
Bit of a sword, bit of a shield. I guess some wings. You can describe.
I got
it
no-
right
I
there.
thought that was a bag of money.
It looks a little.
Yeah, it's questionable that that's a shield.
I'll give you a shield on that one.
I did not get claws or horns,
Right, or a face, head really, but that's okay. Okay.
but I got mean eyes, so I
Nice.
need claws. So
you're flying, first strike, haste.
Vigilance, arguably.
Yeah, I would
Menace.
I need to practice this to get it all in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But
seen
it's a
it done,
dope
though.
idea.
I've seen tweets where people are like, I did it, and they like show the little things, little circle guy, and he's got all the stuff in the hands, and it's great. So that said, Nerd Girl, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is a card that I don't think is spectacularly exciting, but it kind of does everything. It's got a cute picture. It has a fun play on words. It has a good flavor text and a sort of unique ability. So I kind of like everything about this card. So we're going to talk about Exchange of Words.
Cool.
We have a colorless blue for an enchantment that says, when Exchange of Words enters the battlefield, choose 2 target creatures. For as long as you control Exchange Words, as long as it's on the battlefield, exchange the text box of those 2 creatures. So you're not like switcherooing, you're just box switcherooing, which I thought was a pretty unique, interesting thing that we don't really see. But then also the flavor text I thought was really funny, which says, before criticizing, walk a mile, about 1.6 kilometers, in their head. That way, when you do, you're a mile away and you still have their head.
That's very good.
Classic.
You'll notice that this does not have an acorn. This is legal in Eternal formats.
True.
It's going to be very funny for someone to sneak in an Emrakul, and then I'll swap its text box with my Baleful Strix or whatever. I'm putting this in a commander deck.
Seems amazing.
It's in my LARP character's commander deck because he's kind of a politician and a talker. I just love the concept of this card. I think it's brilliant.
This was the number 1 selling rare from the set from Cool Stuff.
Really?
When I looked the other day, this was it, because people were, I can imagine, be excited about this, because again, not only is it legal in Commander, which is great, people are talking about still the older formats. There's an attraction deck that showed up in Legacy or whatever, and that was
true.
Or was it stickers? It was stickers, right? Because the blank
Stickers.
goblin.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so they're coming, and this stuff can get there. So let's move on here to number 8, Nerd Girl. What's number 8?
Oh, wow. You jumped straight to me.
I jumped
Sorry.
straight. You can't, I'm out
Yeah,
of
so
control.
my number 8, it's okay. My fault for not having the next one lined
Keep
up.
you guys
quite
on
so
your
ready.
toes.
Yeah. So my number 8 is a card that I find intriguing, and I have to think about over the next few weeks before I finish my cube and start bringing this cube to events, because I feel like this is something I need to do my homework for, just similar to Ruben's last card where you have to memorize how to draw your best doodle to make your best character. I need to do a thing to help me in the game for future. And that is the case with Photo Op. Photo Op is 1 black for a sorcery. This is before the game begins. You may post a picture of yourself posing like the art of any magic card with a hashtag guess that magic card and no other text. You may reveal a reply posted with a guess and a card you own from outside of the game with the same name as that guess. Put that card into your hand, exile Photo Op. So the kind of cool thing about this is you can also pick a card that's sort of vague and you get a lot of different guesses, and then you can just make a little box with all of those guesses.
Yep.
And you have a reply to all of them, and you can use whichever one suits you best. Sort of like a Karn go fetch something out of your sideboard kind of deal.
All right.
Yeah. You just gotta pick the perfect card that will maybe give you the best card that you want, but also give you a lot of options. And I'm so excited. I love unsets.
This is mine. What am I?
I don't know. What is he?
I'm hoping for a Jace the Mind Sculptor.
I see.
Oh, I see. Well, as of 4 hours ago, someone was posting hashtag guess that magic card.
Great.
To help them out in Unfinity. So that was a thing. For 1 black mana as a mythic sorcery in the unset, this is pretty rad, and I like it a lot.
It's a 1 mana wish. I mean, if you can do a halfway decent photo, like, that's pretty good.
Remember, just put your hands on each side and scream, and that's how you get your ancestral. Very nice. Well, for my number 8 of all the cards in all the set, Ruben and I happen to have the exact same one in number 8. No particular reason I put this in number 8, as it were, other than I thought it was like, a cool card. And funnily enough, when I wrote it out, I actually mistyped it because I typed the actual quote unquote name, not the card name.
You typed the typical way that this is said and not a pun on the way that this phrase is usually said.
Right. So it's got a pun in there. Ultimately, the idea that you're able to bid off cards that are in your graveyard and they get them, but even if they get them, you get paid in a variety of ways is awesome because you're not exiting through the gift shop. Ruben, where are we exiting from?
We're going to exit through the grift shop. Exit through the grift shop is a 2 generic and a black mythic sorcery. Yell, "Who wants a souvenir?" and announce the name of a non-land card in your graveyard. Each player in an ungame, which includes your opponent, but also includes everyone else in the room, who can hear you may bid life. You start the bidding at 0. The highest bidder loses life equal to the high bid, then copy the card and may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. If you didn't win the bid, you gain life equal to the high bid and create that many treasure tokens.
So it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Pretty good. Pretty good for whoever casts it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Treasure tokens are great.
Yeah, this card reminds me of a card that I've cast in Modern before called Pain's Reward.
Yeah.
Which is an excellent, I've had it in burn sideboards in the past. Bidding life is great. What a cool mechanic. And exit through the grift shop is an excellent take on that.
Yeah, Pain's Reward is up to almost $4 these days from Savers of Kamigawa. The foil almost 17, because it just hasn't seen print in 15,
never
16
been reprinted.
Million years now. But yeah, this card is dope, and I think it's just fun. If anything, I wish you could do it every turn somehow because I think it's a really fun, silly game. But I'll take my one-time sorcery of Who Wants a Souvenir. Yeah,
we could in the future set have a legendary land called Grift Shop that allows you to put a copy of Exit Through the Grift Shop into your hand or something.
Nice, nice. Well, let's move on here to number 7. Nerd Girl, what is your number 7?
All right, so my number 7 is actually a card that I think is neat, but also I have a bit of a rules question for you guys. So I wanted to put it on the list so we could chat about it.
Okay.
And that is Phone a Friend.
Ooh, I like this
3
card.
colorless blue for a sorcery that says call someone and ask them to choose one. If they don't answer, an opponent chooses one. And then it says don't explain anything else. You choose targets. A, gain control of target creature you don't control. B, choose target creature you control. Create 2 tokens that are a copy of each of them. C, take an extra turn after this one. Or D, draw 7 cards. So my question is it says do not explain anything else. do you just say pick A through D,
Yep.
or do you tell them what each of them does? Because it doesn't specify you can't read each of the options.
Interesting.
I don't
Don't
think so.
explain. Call someone and ask them to choose one. Don't explain anything else.
So I feel like you can read them to your opponent.
I agree.
I think the premise is that they don't know what's best for you.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like if you cast this on an empty board, like
I
that's
think-
pretty.
Right. I think the spirit
Like,
of
if
this
you've got a
card
big-
is to say, choose A, B, C, or D. Go now, right now. You know.
That's probably the intent, but I don't think it's against any intent to read off the options.
Because the other, like, if you, let's say you're way losing, you don't have a creature on the board, they could pick A, you gain a control of something, and usually like, it doesn't help you.
Right.
So I feel like the idea behind the card is that you can't tell them what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I again, I don't know. I would play it the ABCD thing go, but I can certainly see them, explaining it. It doesn't matter if they give you the wrong option.
I think it's funnier if I'm like calling my mom and I still read off what the text does.
That's
Right?
pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, this was close to making my list. I think this is a brilliant, like, cool, funny idea, and it's a little mini game, which I love the little mini games, and I think it's sweet. Ruben, what is your number 7?
My number 7 is one of 2 hires on my list.
Ooh, well, that means my number 7 is coming right up. Now, I think this card is dope. I had noted a little bit of criticism and the fact that they've done this before, so it's not the craziest thing ever, but the fact when they make websites for cards and those websites need to now exist forever and ever, who cares? But ultimately, it is the thing that can date the card and can cause issues in the future. And that's why I always don't like to do that, because I want to future-proof my cards forever. But sometimes you have to explain to people exactly how to set up and work and use Devil K Neville to their maximum usage. This is Evil Knievel in magic form, but it's not Evil Knievel because lawsuits. But Devil K Neville is dope because it's a red and 2 generic mana for a 2/1 rare legendary devil performer with haste. And when it enters the battlefield, you jump it over any number of creatures. If it clears those creatures, put that many +1/+1 counters on it, and you can see a jumping demonstration at devilkneville.com, where you put it off the side of the table and you flick it up, or you push it up, or you hit it, or whatever you do to it. As long as it goes up and over the cards that is in front of it, you get to do that cool ability, and I think that's great.
It's sort of like when you fold up the little triangle and you play the
Football.
Yeah. It's paper football, yeah.
paper football. Yeah, that's fun.
Absolutely. Shout out to Kathleen DeVere of Loading Ready Run. By the way, Loading Ready Run, as of this recording, just celebrated their 19th anniversary of making content for the internet. If you thought you were old, their content creation can vote. So that is something.
I'm coming up on 20 myself in
there you
2006
go.
or 2026.
Congratulations, yeah.
You win, Evan. You're the oldest.
No, I
You
don't.
You are terribly
Stop
old.
it. God.
But
You did it to yourself.
How dare I?
Kathleen had a great demonstration on how to flick it, available at that website. Very cool card. I like the idea of the card. It's a good pun. It's just all good.
So we're going to move on here to number 6. And speaking of good and all good and things that are good and that make me happy, I cannot believe that I apparently am the only one to have this on any of the lists. Listen, one of the important things that works in a community, it works in the culture, that works in the zeitgeist, that works in the silly jokes, that when the memes that we tell each other to amuse ourselves. And Lord knows how adolescently wonderful it can be to ask someone if they've seen what the card Mind Goblin does. And have they noticed there's a Mind Goblin? Or there's a Mind Goblin on the board. Would you mind giving me that? And then Mind Goblin, these genitalia, and so on and so forth, which is great.
Thanks, Evan.
You're welcome. Explain jokes are better, even funnier. But the point is, by God, on my list, I put it down. Blank Goblin is in there, all right, for my number 6, because I think it's dope. It's a red and 2 generic mana for a blank Goblin. It's a common goblin guest. It is legal in older formats, as it is a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, you may put a name sticker on it, and you add 1 red mana for each unique vowel on that sticker, at which point we found, which was the one that works with it the best?
Decidedly, or wait, it was deliciously?
I think it's deliciously, or decidedly. Either way,
Wait, there was one that had all 6 vowels.
Correct, and I had it up, and I'll be damned if I didn't lose it. But either way, the idea that you can get all 6 vowels, which means you get all 6 mana for just playing this one, while also there is a sticker sheet that has the word mind, so you can make it a mind goblin. We did it, everybody. We did it.
Woo!
On the same sheet with the 6/9 power and toughness and the 4/2 power and toughness. The memes are real, everybody. They're real.
Yeah, this card is already threatening to see legacy play, because if you can get 6 red mana, that allows you to play a Muxus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot. That's a lot of mana for you to be able to do that.
I mean, I will take anything that lets me. Delusionary, the playable Delusionary Hydra sticker sheet is the one you really want, because that's the one that lets you go completely nuts. And so, yay, the jokes are real, and I love silly stuff like that. Thanks.
I have a small question about sticker sheets to clarify. I know this isn't the news channel. So I was sorting through mine yesterday because I'm going to do several for my cube. Do they have rarities?
No,
not
they're
that I'm
fixed.
aware of. Yeah.
Okay, some of them I have 5, and some of them I just got my last one of as I was sorting through the end of it. So I have a ton of some, and I'm still finding new ones that are ones of. So I wasn't sure.
Right, I can tell you from opening them in volume, they are sort of a fixed rarity, and you open enough, they do level out. But
level out.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure because it that could be relevant for the cube, right? If I just put 3 of everyone and one of them's just busted for some reason, then that would be bad.
I'm honestly glad there are no mythic sticker sheet, cards or whatever, because I think that'd be kind of lame. Buy this $20 sticker sheet because it has all the vowels in every name or something.
Right.
But either way, that's fun. So Ruben, what's number 6?
My number 6 is a card that I'm very excited about. I think that it would be a ton of fun to play, and I think it's actually very good as well. My number 6 is Opening Ceremony.
Yeah.
Opening Ceremony is a 6 mana sorcery that adds white, blue, black, red, green, and colorless. It is a free spell, kind of. And you may open a sealed magic booster pack. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among the cards in that booster pack. I just love stuff like this. We've had Call the Pack or Beckon the Pack or something like that in the past. Booster Tutor has existed in the past as well. Opening Ceremony, yet another excellent addition to that line.
Opening Ceremony does a lot. It's also I think it's just a great thing for the idea of the circus, right? The opening ceremony of the thing is really, really cool. Just flavor-wise, I feel like I do get this really inclusive feeling that they have created a space circus. And I like that they've added those, not just the buildings or the rides or the characters, but also the moments. Yeah, I think that's cool.
I also like the fact that it's, red is the one that's shooting off fireworks. That's what the red mana is doing, is making the fireworks. I think that's brilliant. I love opening booster packs so you can play them. It gives you mana so you can play them, which is cool, which actually depends on which one you want to choose out of the pack. I think that's brilliant, and this card is really, really fun. All right, let's go. Nerd Girl, what's your number 6?
So my number 6 is a card that I just loved before I even read it, just because I have fond memories of this card as a non-un card. And I think that the fun little twist that they did was very interesting and unique. And also I can see that it's going to make me think a lot. It's going to make gameplay slow and scary, and also if your opponent's in these colors, they're constantly going to be having to look at your board, or vice versa. You have to think about this card a lot more than you did the original printing, because it was just easier to see. And that's Gray Merchant of the Alphabet. 3 colorless and a black for a zombie performer. When Gray Merchant of the Alphabet enters the battlefield, choose a letter for each creature you control that has the chosen letter in its name. You gain 1 life, and each opponent loses 1 life. It's a 2/4. And then the flavor text says, like any young zombie, Gray dreamed of escaping the underworld to join the circus.
Yeah. Nice. Good old Gary trying to make his way through the world.
Right. And it's a callback to Gray Merchant of Asphodel, who, also nicknamed Gary. This is a brilliant play on that. I think that this is an adorable. This came very close to my list as well. 2/4 for 5 mana, obviously beckoning back to that card. And what an interesting mechanic. I love it a lot.
Very nice. Yeah, it's just one of those things that has to be, it has to be Acorn just due to the way that Magic cards are made, and that's okay. But I think it's really fun. It makes the most out of its Acornness, I guess, as it were, which is great. Let's move on here to number 5. Ruben, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is the last of my hires. Only had 2 hires, but there they are.
There you go. Nerd Girl, what's your number 5?
All right. Well, I do have a number 5. And I think this might be my only attraction. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know how attractions are going to play out, and I'm not even 100% sure on all the rules and how you do them. So, that's something I'm going to be figuring out as I go through this cube. But this one, it didn't seem insanely overpowered, but it does seem really fun. And I enjoyed the art, and I enjoyed the tokens that it creates. I think it was one of my favorite tokens that I opened. So we're going to talk about Balloon Stand and the cute little balloon tokens that it makes.
Very nice.
You can visit and choose one. You can create a 1/1 red balloon creature token with flying, and you can sacrifice a balloon. If you do, target creature gains flying until end of turn. So I love the idea of the little Space Family Goblinson like flying on the balloon, because it takes the balloon and it has flying. And have I ever mentioned like one of my favorite cards is like Goblin Grenade, the one with the art, and he's got like the grenade in his mouth. Stuff like that just makes me so happy. So the idea of someone gaining flying with a little balloon is adorable. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's beautiful. I think you want to for me, I would want to like equip the balloon, and like I'll sack it at the end of turn, but I just want to give that thing where it's like floating over and then it's getting you and then the balloon goes away.
I'm gonna equip it like it's supposed to be equipped. It's not gonna get sacked. It's gonna like be on the creature, and if they don't like it, then they can call a judge.
Absolutely. That's right. Yeah, Balloon Stand is playable. I mean, anything that gives you a creature is, it gives you a board position, it gives you an evasive creature. There's lots of ways to use this. I'm excited to put this like in a ninja's deck, the mental image of a ninja deck of either attacking with a balloon and then replacing it with a ninja because it was inside of the balloon, or giving your ninjas that are already in play a balloon so that they can quietly sneak over to the other side of the battlefield. Also very good. This is just a lovely card, and it's great.
It is wonderful. And speaking of wonderful cards that I loved seeing in play, there were multiple pictures being passed around with the hashtag MTG Unfinity on Twitter, particularly on that pre-release release weekend thing they did, showing the myriad of ways in which you could take any random object like a soda can, and then you could suddenly put power and toughness stickers on it, and you put a name sticker on it, you put an art sticker on it, an ability sticker, and by God, you have animated an object. For a blue and 4 generic mana, it is an uncommon sorcery that says you get 7 tickets and you choose an inanimate object you own from outside the game. You put a power and toughness sticker on it. You may also put a name sticker, art sticker, and ability sticker on it. Put it on the battlefield as a creature token, and rawr. And I've just seen like salt and pepper shakers and cans and bottles and all like shoes and stuff, like all sorts of random things that people now stick on the battlefield and turn sideways to get in the red zone.
7 is a lot of tickets. I think that's the most you get from any one card.
Sounds about right.
Set at a time. And some of the crazy abilities and power and toughnesses are like 5 or 6 tickets. So if you're gonna build a sticker deck, you gotta save up those tickets so that you can buy the right thing from the prizes. Animate Object is adorable. I think it's great. I love the concept of it. And being able to attach. Just don't tilt your beverages. That's a bad idea.
You turn them. You just turn them. There you go. All right. Very nice. Well, let's move on here to number 4. Nerd Girl, what's number 4?
All right. So my number 4 is not a card that's on the list because of how good it is or the crazy things that it does. It's actually, as far as uncards go, kind of not exciting, but it is very fun to say. It has fantastic flavor text, and it reminds me very much of my favorite thing about what this type of card does and the thing that makes it my favorite. So we're going to talk about the Space Family Goblinson. Fantastic name. For a 2 colorless red and green creature, you get a legendary creature, Goblin Guest, that says the Space Family Goblinson has trample as long as you've rolled 3 or more dice this turn. Probably hard to do consistently. And then whenever you roll a dice, put a +1/+1 counter on Space Family Goblinson, and it's a 1/1. The flavor text, however, says the Goblin word for vacation translates roughly to a battered landscape of noise and violence. So I told you, like, my favorite Goblin card is the Goblin Grenade, where he's got the Goblin in his mouth and they're launching him. Also, we've got the Holiday Goblin card with Season's Beatings, where you can see a picture in the window of the goblins fighting as the goblin is coming home for the holidays. And the flavor text says, arriving home, he suddenly longed for the blood-soaked field of the battle, or blood-soaked battlefield. So everything about goblins in Magic that I love is in this card. It's super cute. And I just like saying the Space Family Goblinson.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's funny enough, this card in particular, in terms of cool stuff, we open a set amount of product for each set release, as much as you would like to be told that, Wizards just sends us reams of rares and that'd be nice. But like in the real world, we literally just open packs. And when we opened a whole bunch of packs, we actually could not find a foil version of this card. We got one in the bust that we had, and it was damaged. And so I was like, oh my God, is this a spirit token situation from Neo where they're like super crazy rare? And luckily enough, it appears that it was just, it's one of those things like you only saw a few of those stickers sheets or whatever. We literally only saw one that was damaged. Other people got plenty of them and it wasn't a big deal. But overall, I think this card is super cool and neat. And let's make a die roll deck. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, it's not horrifically difficult to build a dice rolling deck. You've got Brazen Dwarf and Pixie Guide and Barbarian class.
Krark's
all, and well, no, that's flipping coins.
Oh, that is flipping coins, right? You're right.
I think Krark's other thumb does something with roll dice, but that's not a legacy legal card.
That's fair.
That's true. I was thinking limited mostly. There are some die roll things, but I was thinking consistently rolling 3 would be tough.
That's
but yeah,
true.
in a built deck that would be cool. But this is the first time we've really considered uncards as deck buildable, right?
Yeah,
which is neat.
I know that there's also another dice rolling legend, like a mono red dice rolling legend that they printed in some supplemental product that says when you roll dice, you roll additional dice. So it's possible that you can play your Swiss Family Goblinson and every dice roll gives it +3/+3 for, or +4/+4 forever. Not to mention whatever you were doing to roll that die. Add a Feywild Trickster in it and get a bunch of pixies. It's just a good time.
I mean, Krark's other thumb foil is $10. So,
wow.
Yeah. Regular about 40 cents, but if you want the foil, it's going to cost you. Ruben, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is a card that apparently I saw a TikTok with Gavin Verhey talking about this card. This was apparently one of the convention fake cards, like convention only. What are those called?
The test cards?
The test cards, yeah. This was originally in the file to be a test card. But before the test cards went to print, Gavin handed the file off and said, hey, do you want any of these for the upcoming unset? And among the cards that were pulled from that file was this. And it's just a very cool card. Nothing has an effect like this, and it seems extremely powerful. I'm sure there's some completely busted combos that you can do with Soul Performer. Soul Performer is a 2/2 elf performer for 2 generic green that says tap, add, tap, tap. Activate only once each turn. While activating an ability, you can use that tap rather than tapping the permanent to pay for the tapping requirement of the thing that you're doing. It's very confusing.
I love it.
But
you're floating a tap.
You're floating a tap.
Floating 2 taps.
Floating 2 taps. That's right. So it's a tap dancer. And it's very cool. I mean, there's a number of things that I would like to tap multiple times a turn. And this allows you to do it.
I mean, this was my number 9. This was the one I didn't expect us to actually talk about. And I was going to be the only one who's over here nerding out about how like silly and weird as hell it is that you can add tap tap to your mana pool and it can pay for other tap things that you don't have to tap for now because it's got the tap taken care of. I think that's brilliant. I think it's Acorn right now. I don't think this is the craziest thing to play around with in a real black border constructed set. Maybe not add 2 of them, but like add 1 of them or tap this instead of using the tap ability of another creature or whatever. Right. I don't think it's too crazy, but I love the design and the idea on this one.
I think it's a little crazy.
It's wild. It's absolutely crazy, but I love it. And that's what I love about it.
That's funny.
Oh, if you want to talk about crazy, we can get crazy. This one had to be acorned, not because it was impossible, but because it would be broken if you didn't put it in the silver bordered category / it's not silver bordered, it's an acorn now. I absolutely love it though. I think it's brilliant. The keyword name of this is the best one in the set, in my opinion, because my God, this land has rangeling, which means it is every land type, including gate and lair and locust and all of those Urza ones. Yep. And yes, that's what it says on nearby planet. This is a good old-fashioned common land that is all the land types. It enters the battlefield tapped, and when the nearby planet enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay a generic mana, because you're going to get some value out of this one way or another. It's already a rainbow land, but it's everything else on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a gateway plaza that has all those types, and so it turns on all of your domain stuff, and it activates your gate things, and it, you know, if you play in Urza's Tower, well, guess what? You've already got a power plant and a mine. Yeah, it's very adorable, and a very cool idea.
It does a lot.
Sure does.
That's all the things. It's wonderful.
I am glad it is acorned.
It
Absolutely.
Needed to be. You can't let this with 8 locusts and stuff and cloud posts. No.
I also like that this is, I mean, this is a mana fixing land. So if you want to go kind of crazy and limited, you can pick up a bunch of nearby planets. And
it's just, it's
not the worst thing.
It's a wonderful card name, and I love it. And this is the type of stuff that, like, in Legacy and whatnot, this would be broken in half. And if they ever wanted to do a card like this, they would just go ahead and like auto ban it for the older formats. But I don't see this being a serious problem in standard Magic. Like,
well, in standard Magic, it's still domain. Like, if we're using like a Riveteer's Lookout to go get this, we just have domain immediately. I think that's a bit much, but
in a format with domain, probably not. But in a format without domain, I think it might be doable. Either way, let's move on here to number 3. Mine is my second higher, but that's okay because it's dope. Ruben, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is probably, I think, probably the most playable attraction in Constructed. It's also hilarious. It's also flavorful. I just love everything about it. My number 3 is MerryGoRound. MerryGoRound is a attraction that when you visit it, creatures you control with power 2 or less gain horsemanship until the end of the turn, which means they can't be blocked except for by creatures with horsemanship. Very powerful ability. About a third of the time, everything you have becomes almost unblockable. In a lot of scenarios, I think that's very, very good.
I mean, watch your opponent break out right in the Delu horse for that 6/6 sideboard tech.
Yeah, if my opponent is blocking with Jihao-Dun the One-Eyed, I'm okay with that.
I'm really excited to see how these attractions play out.
Yeah, agreed.
How often are we getting into the attractions? How relevant are the abilities? I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, there's an amount of variance here, like coming and going, that's going to be really exciting and interesting as to whether these fire and what they target and whatnot, and what they affect. Nerd Girl, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is my second and the last higher.
All right. Well, that means we just move on here to the number 2. Ruben, what's your number 2?
Listen, this is the best card in the set because it's the one that automatically goes in my commander deck. You know that I'm a wall apologist. This is the reason why I'm a wallologist. I love a defender, and I love Prizewall. There we go.
Your number 10, very nice.
Prizewall is a generic and a blue for an 0/4 common wall with defender that has pay a blue and tap, get a ticket. Pay 5 and tap for 4 generic and a blue and tap. You may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own. Activate only as a sorcery. This is good value. I mean, we talked about how most things aren't going to get you a ton of tickets. This gets you a ticket every turn. And, you know, if in limited things get grindy, or even in constructed in your EDH games, you know what? I got an extra blue at the end of the turn. Let's get a ticket. Let's see, you know. And then you're like, all right, well, it would be really nice if I had access to this ability on this sticker. You can go get your sticker from the Prizewall.
Nice.
Yep.
Cash new tickets.
I like everything that it does. And if you guys can't tell, I love Prizewalls, actually. Yeah. They're like my favorite thing.
I mean, Prizewalls actually helped save a lot of constructed Magic at one point in terms of the affordability of being able to run large tournament series, and for both the Grand Prix and the SCGs of the world to be able to offer things, you know, where it kind of get a little obfuscated in the prize tickets or whatever. But ultimately, it also provides you a huge swath of different stuff you can get. There's promo items that you can add to the pool that don't like feel weird, or, you know, like, why did they price this for like $40 versus, hey, this is 800 tickets, and you can trade for tickets amongst your friends, or everybody work towards one specific promo product or whatever over the weekend. And so having that be, you know, immortalized in a card with the ticket thing and the attraction stuff, or rather, and the sticker sheets, I think is brilliant. So that's great. Nerd Girl, what's number 2?
So my number 2 is a card. So I do have number 2. And it is a card that I found to be one of the funniest, and also is going to be one of the most interesting in gameplay. And I can't wait to play games with this and against this, and also just watch people playing cards with this. And that's going to be Bluffer Fish. 4 colorless blue for a creature fish. It's a 3/6, and it has the ability for 4 mana, 3 colorless and a blue. An opponent tells you a statement about themselves and secretly notes whether it is true or false. The guess, then you guess which it is. If you guessed correctly, Bluffer Fish gets +2/+0 and can't be blocked this turn.
This is brilliant. This is freaking brilliant.
Yeah, that's amazing. I also love his face.
Oh, man.
He looks like he's wearing a little birthday hat. I know he isn't, but like...
It does.
It looks like if a gremlin from like Gremlins 2 got like smacked onto a puffer fish, that would be where you're at.
Trying to think what
So it becomes a 5 power unblockable creature if your opponent can't guess, or if you can't guess what is true or false about, you know, their story about themselves.
Right.
And I just want to watch people.
Okay.
I just want to watch people.
All right, so here we go.
I gotta think of what bluff. If my opponent has a Bluffer Fish, I need to come up with a bluff right now.
Right. We all need to come up with one right now.
Okay.
So, Nerd Girl, tell us something about yourself, and me and Ruben will guess whether it's true or false. And then you can tell us if it's true or false.
Okay.
Okay.
My
riveting
first,
podcast content.
My first job was washing cars at a car dealership.
I mean, I think we're in the maybe territory here.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because it's believable, but also I'm gonna say false.
I see. I'm gonna say true.
It's true.
Ah, we did it. We got there.
See, that's
all right,
what
Ruben.
That's what makes it a good one.
All right, Ruben, drop us one.
Interesting.
So I get to whack Ruben in the face for 5 damage.
Exactly. You're unblockable. I have met former President Barack Obama.
Oh boy. Now it is possible because his sister's in politics, right? So
that's right.
This is not the craziest thing in the world. I'm gonna say he might have gotten close, but I'm gonna say false.
I'm also gonna say false.
It is false. I've met Vice President Joe Biden, or President Joe Biden.
Now President
Barack Obama.
Nice. All right. So
you tricked 2 people in the chat though.
Ooh, okay. All right. See, sometimes I get bluffed.
50-50. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Yeah. All right, Evan, bring it.
All right.
I have 6 kids. No. Sorry.
I have never met, now or previously, a president of Wizards of the Coast.
Never met a president of Wizards of the Coast.
There's been 2 in my lifetime, I think.
Right.
Just the 2, but
I'm going to say that's true. I don't think that they would have been like part of the tour for the Community Cup. But you've also been around so long and been invited to so many random things. I just don't think that they would have been like at the Pro Tour. I'm gonna say that you have never met them.
So I think, assuming that hand that you're resting on is your right hand, you looked slightly to the left when you made this up. So I'm gonna say false because I think that's supposed to be a tell.
Ooh, good one.
I have never met a president of
Yes!
Wizards of the Coast.
Yes.
Nice.
There you go.
Got him with a thanks, Mike Caro.
We did.
Wait. We guessed right?
Well, my thing was I've never met one, and Ruben said that is correct. I've never met one, and so I think
And that's what I said.
we both said correct.
I think we said it, and you said it in different ways, but you both agreed.
We both
that
are
that's
correct.
The thing. All right, so moving on
Great.
here.
You looked left. It really works.
It really does. I was like, what?
Perfect.
Okay, so
When you made it up, you went like this, and you looked up to the left, and then you went down to formulate the rest of your decision, and then
Got to know this if you're gonna play a Bluffer Fish, Evan.
this is true.
I'm ready for you, Bluffer Fishes. You ain't getting.
You got to
through.
wear the sunglasses.
Right,
That's
a
what we
poker
need to
face
do
has
now.
never been my forte. Now for my number 2 here, this is a brilliant card, and I can imagine it's probably on one of your all's lists because of just the ingenuity of it. You know, I love the idea that you can like become things. You can be a dragon. You can be a different thing in the game, but rarely have they ever said you can be a sorcery. You are a part of the card and the effect as you become the form of the approach of the second sun. This is your number 3. Very nice. So we were right there together. And your number 7. Is that right? Okay. Very cool. Very cool. This is just a hell of a magic card. I mean, I can't imagine anyone reading this and not going like, this is freaking brilliant. It's a rare enchantment. And when this enchantment enters the battlefield, you gain 7 life and you become a card until you leave your library or that library is shuffled. You put yourself 7th from the top, balancing the cards on top of you on your head. And when you draw yourself, you win the game. And when 1 or more cards fall off of your head, exile them, and all cards on your head, then sacrifice this enchantment. There goes Ruben. Couldn't handle it for 2 seconds.
No, I couldn't.
No,
I need better.
Mine also instantly fell off. So yeah, I would fail this miserably.
Sleeves are not great for this.
Not new ones anyway.
No. I don't think anybody's winning this way because not only do you have to hold them there for 7 turns, you have to draw cards off of them without
off your
falling
head.
off.
Like you have to draw. I think the idea is still brilliant. The idea
is absolutely spectacular. I think that if you wore a specific flat-topped hat,
that would help.
This may help.
Good old fedora would be nice.
Yeah, I think that if you wore a 5-color fedora or a 5-color cowboy hat for this and the big top, that would go a long way towards helping you win games of Unfinity Limited.
Very nice.
Yep.
What a cool card. And also you can see why I put it at my number 7.
And my 3.
Yeah, there were lots of excellent questions about this and like weird rules interactions of, you know, searching your library and milling yourself and putting cards into other locations and things like that. Can you manifest yourself and things like that? This was very funny.
I want to be able to manifest myself, please. So we turn here to our number 1. Nerd Girl, what is your number 1?
All right. Well, you guys know me. Everybody should know what my number 1 is.
It's my number 3.
It's my number 5.
My number 1 is the Comet Stellar Pup.
Yeah.
There it is.
Because he's so cute and adorable. And I will read his abilities and tell you my favorite one here is a 2 colorless white, red. I don't know why I'm struggling in my brain. 2 colors and a white and a red for a Planeswalker Comet. And it comes into play with 5 loyalty. For 0 loyalty, the only ability it has is you can roll a 6-sided dice. If you roll a 1 or a 2, then you create 2 green squirrel creature tokens. They gain haste until end of turn. Squirrel, like, that's the dog thing. It's so funny.
It also gets 2 loyalty, which is nice.
Yeah. If you roll a 3, then you return target card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. I can't honestly see the loyalty. It's too small on my monitor for some reason. I can't get a good picture. For a 4 or a 5, Comet Stellar Pup deals damage equal to the number of loyalty counters on him to target creature or player, and then
minus
some
2.
number of loyalty.
Minus 2.
How much?
Minus 2. Yeah.
And then if you roll a 6,
+1.
+1, and you may activate Comet Stellar Pup's loyalty ability 2 more times this turn. So you just get a free bonus, and then you get to do 2 things. You get to make squirrels and then blow people up, and it's just such a good boy.
I mean, you want a rolling dice matters thing. Let's go Comet. Comet go. Yeah. This is legal in Eternal formats. This is legal in Commander. This is the goodest boy in the multiverse. I think this is brilliant. There's a dog planeswalker. We did it.
I would have killed for this to be my preview card. I don't know if anybody from Wizards listens to these, but you guys gave me 2 dogs and then you cut me off, and I feel like,
you cut me off.
I'm hurt.
That's
I'm
funny.
hurt. Please, I need these in my life, even if they suck.
Swear to God.
Yeah. There was someone who posted a legacy dice rolling deck and did the math for like this could just kill somebody. I've since looked up the dice rolling legend I was thinking of, about, which is named Will Blade of Frontiers, which is from the Baldur's Gate Commander expansion. If you have a bunch of ways to re-roll dice, Comet just kind of goes off. Like you can just stop whenever the heck you want. And even if you're not trying to do any of that, very good card. And even if it isn't a very good card, it's a very good boy.
As it should be. Very nice. Now, Ruben, what is your number 1?
My number 1 is I knew that this was going to be my number 1, and I think Wizards of the Coast knew that this was going to be a lot of people's number 1. They knew that they had to make something good. They knew that they had to keep going with a theme that they had done with the previous unsets. They needed to make this card. And they did a very good job with this card. And I'm very pleased with what they did with Vorthos, Steward of Myth.
Nice.
Vorthos, Steward of Myth is a generic and a red for a legendary creature human gamer. As Vorthos, Steward of Myth enters the battlefield, choose a named magic character. Each spell you cast with the chosen character in its name, flavor text, or art costs Wooburg less to cast. White, blue, black, red, green. This effect reduces only the amount of colored mana that you pay.
This card is dope. I mean, this is one of the beautiful things about the unsets is that basically every single card we spoke about, particularly any with an acorn on it, are dirt cheap. Like just 50 cents will get you a copy of this card to rock and roll with. And that's hard to say about any other mythic that you could get excited about, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's interesting because unsets have always been known to just like have little to no money in them. Except for the lands. Basics, right? So this set actually does have, I feel like, a little bit more money because the lack of an acorn. Now, none of these cards are like exploding outside of the shocks, but there are some $7, $10 cards here and there.
Couple.
And that's interesting to see.
It's good. I mean, the lands always save the unsets, which is great. And now the shock lands help, and even the galaxy foils, which you go kind of above and beyond because something had to sell those collector boxes, y'all. And that did a good job of it. But again, the idea that all this is very affordable is one of my favorite things about the unsets, honestly, is that this is the pure, flat cost magic everyone says that they want, but no one really buys, which is why it keeps it the flat cost that everyone says they want. Absolutely hilarious. For my number 1 here, this is a hell of a magic card. This is the magic card that they put an acorn on, even though they didn't have to put an acorn on it. This is the one, huge debate in R&D. This is the one I would have 1000%. I would have went hard in the paint to make this thing legal in Eternal formats, in the Legacies of the world, certainly in the Commanders of the world, which seems absolutely fantastic. Give me a Tug of War. Tug of War is sick. I love this thing. This card is absolutely amazing. It's a green and 4 generic mana for a mythic sorcery. Let's go. Players play a sub game. That's all I needed. 4 words, toot toot on the train. Let's go. Players play a sub game starting at 5 life with up to 3 permanent cards with different names from their main game library on the battlefield. As the sub game ends, the winner chooses one of the cards they put onto the battlefield as the sub game began and puts it onto the battlefield rather than shuffling it into their library. And like all of these people being like, this is so broken, this is so busted. You know how many 5-mana cards I can show you in Legacy that win the game literally immediately?
Yeah.
Like, that's not a big deal here. The deal is that we can have sub games, and that's not out of the realm of black bordered rules.
Right.
That's amazing.
So what's the best? The best 3, I think, is
Emrakul, something gives it haste.
No, I'm faster than that. We're starting at 5 life, right?
Right.
The new 4/4 with reach that deals damage equal to the domain, and then a dual land and a tri-land.
Right, tri-land, and
yeah, and then dome you for 5 is the best I could come up with.
Again,
well, you're assuming that they don't have some. They start in play,
right?
So that they have to have no creatures.
Oh, they start in play.
They start on the battlefield.
Emrakul just blocks that.
Right, so they start on the battlefield.
I see.
But if that's your combo, well, you also have last in, first out. And so, you can have stack triggers based on who the current active player is and all that good stuff.
But it just like comes into, but it's just, they end up on the battlefield. They don't trigger, it comes into play abilities.
Correct. They're just hanging out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Emrakul's probably the way to do it. This card would be good in an Emrakul deck that you have anyway. So
right. Emrakul is something to give it haste and something maybe protect it or something. I don't know. But you also, again, have to have these cards in your deck. You have to not have drawn them already. You have to, this has to resolve. Like, there's so many things that have to go right for this to matter. And I would absolutely love to see this one day just turned into a good old fashioned, not acorn card, which would be very nice. And that said, that is our top 10 Unfinity cards. You'll see them on screen right now for your review. Take a look at my list, Nerd Girl's list, Ruben's top 10, and we want to hear from you about what card we did not talk about. And we'll select our favorite to win $50 worth of anything at CoolStuffInc.com. But before we go, I want to thank my co-host. Thank you, Nerd Girl.
Thanks for having me, guys. See you next week.
Thank you, Ruben.
I'm extremely excited to actually play this and see how these play, particularly with stickers and tickets. I think the attractions will be fun as well. I love all the goofiness. I hope that we get more unsets.
Let's hope so. That said, moving to our final slide, I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsors, CardHoarder.com and AlterSleeves.com, my co-hosts, MTG Nerd Girl and Ruben Bressler. You guys for watching and listening. Hope you support us at Patreon.com/MagicMikes. Follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online at Twitch.tv at Magic Mikes, on Twitter at Magic Mikes Cast, our Magic Mikes subreddit, and like the Magic Mikes page on Facebook. Or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mikes. Good night, everybody.